Towering at just over 14,000 feet, Mount Rainier isn't just a dormant volcano, it's also a natural symbol of our state and the entire Pacific Northwest. For those of us living in Western Washington, we know that it's always a real treat when we can see this beautiful mountain out on a gorgeous day just like today. But despite this mountain's beauty and its might as a dormant volcano, it's still not immune to the devastating effects of climate change. And that especially goes for the 25 glaciers that surround this mountain.
The south-facing glaciers are the ones that are getting the brunt of this. They're retreating the fastest.
Mount Rainier is the most glaciated mountain in the contiguous United States, with 35 square miles of glaciers covering its majestic peak, including the Emmons Glacier, which is the largest glacier in the United States outside of Alaska. But these glaciers are starting to recede at an alarming rate, some as much as over 3 feet every 10 days.
Well, the one glacier we track really well is the Nisqually, and it's retreating about 1 meter every 10 days in the summertime when it's super hot.
Scott Beeson is the Mount Rainier National Park geologist.
We get these waves of sediment that move through.
He's monitoring the glaciers and their effects on the rivers around the mountain.
Like, this is totally debris flow.
And that includes the Nisqually River, which is fed by the rapidly retracting Nisqually Glacier.
It's leaving behind steep exposed sediment that is prone to failure. So that stuff can, moraines can basically fall in and the debris can go into the glaciers, and they can actually start what are called debris flows. And debris flows can go some distance downstream and affect people that are hiking in the lower lying areas. We've had quite a few debris flows in the last few years.
Beeson says that it's these debris flows that are bringing the rivers and the streams to a higher capacity than nature intended them to handle.
The river fills with material, and it's like taking a bathtub and filling it with water and then pouring in a couple buckets of sediment and expecting the bathtub to hold the same amount of water. It doesn't work.
Meanwhile, some lower elevation glaciers have already completely melted away in the past several decades due to climate change, while others may soon follow.
The ones that I'm mostly worried about are the glaciers like the Van Trumps, the smaller glaciers that start below the summit, like in the 8,000 to 10,000 foot range. Those glaciers are probably going to completely disappear.
Before the end of the 21st century, Mount Rainier's glaciers could look a lot different if our climate's warming trend continues.
What I expect in the next 50 years or so is that the glaciers that start at the top of the mountain, like the Nisqually, the Emmons, the Winthrop, things like that, they will probably persist. Their terminal areas, the glacier ends, will go further upstream quite a bit.
But despite the ominous signs of glacier melt and retreat, Beeson says there's hope for Mount Rainier's future.
It's a cool place to see the glaciers, and they'll still be here. It's just the future is going to look a lot different.